big cost for our family. I resigned as chairman of this big quasi-public company. I took the Series 7, couldn't pass it to Morgan Stanley, and my life fell apart. And I was like, oh no, what are we going to do? Just lost a 6-figure salary, leader of 450 people, plus 4 other companies, resigned, expecting to take this other big job with Morgan Stanley. And they wanted me, but I just couldn't pass the final Series 66. And suddenly my whole world fell apart, and I was like, my whole significance was tied on whether I passed or failed that course. But God had a different plan, and so he took us into this valley, and then the Maxwell came into my life through going on the internet, finding out, man, instead of being down, using this time of being in transition to learn and grow. So we didn't have 5,000. We got a refund check from the IRS, and my wife agreed, put it towards that. So the best investment I ever made was to develop myself, to be a part of John Maxwell, to grow as a leader, to grow as a coach, because it's so true what he says. If you add value to other people's lives, it returns exponentially back. So I never sell anything anymore. I add value, which means when I'm meeting with people or connecting with people, I care about them first. What's of significance and value to you, and how can I help you accomplish that? And I think if we do that, man, we will not hurt for business, because people will respond, man, you've done so much for me. How can I add value to your life? And it's a win-win. And so John Maxwell was just awesome. He says in this book, and I love it, I don't know if all you ladies caught it, he said, God's gift to us is our potential. Our gift to God is developing it. Isn't that true? I love that, because that is so biblical. And so I always want to be a person who's learning and growing and developing myself. And so I've just acquired an executive coach. She's a senior VP of IBM. I'm on a 6-month contract with her. It's
so we lost him. He froze up. Is Andy trying to call you again, Cecily?
Chariots of Fire. But it's based on a true story of Eric Liddell running a race on a day that he refused to run on, which was the Sabbath. Strong missionary, strong Christian. And there's this great line in the movie, and it goes like this. He says, God has made me for a purpose. He's also made me fast. And when I run, I feel God's pleasure. So what is it that we all do, that when we do that thing that God's made us for, man, we come alive. We feel his pleasure. So ladies, you are all doing that as you are growing and learning. I can feel just from you talking to Cecily, just this energy, and people are drawn to that in you. The law of attraction is true. You attract who you are. And ladies, all of you are becoming great, and people want to be around people that are great, and attitude is everything. So with that, I just want to encourage you. I'm so proud of all of you, including my wife. Keep on keeping on. Don't be discouraged. Be encouraged that you aren't where you need to be now, but you are in the process of getting there. And that's the essence of developing our potential. So with that, ladies, I will turn back to my wife.
I have a question for you, though, but what was it like to personally meet him? What was that like? And
wow.
What was it like to personally meet his wife, Margaret?
So to meet John and Margaret was the biggest blessing in my life. I was one of a small handful of people that got to go to his home and to learn his system and to hear directly from him, to be simply just encouraged and to be around this guy that was a normal guy that really cared about us and cared about our growth and development. And his wife was just a treasure. So, man, it was a blessing.
That's awesome.
Cool. Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Alistair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really loved how in his book he kept on referring to Margaret, and he talked about how he would not do anything with his calendar until he checked with Margaret, because Margaret was like his most important thing. And if Margaret wasn't happy, then he wasn't going to be happy either. So I just absolutely loved that about him, how he always made his family first. And then he put his faith, I think he put his faith, I don't know where he put his faith, but he put it somewhere in there. I know
Hopefully
he's
he
a
goes.
I know he's a strong Christian. So, but I can't remember where on the list he put that. But that wasn't even one of my takeaways. I'm going to just talk quickly about actually, I was going to do 5, but I really have 7 because I couldn't narrow it down. And I'm just going to kind of talk about it and read it to you guys, what I got from it. Are you going to leave? My hubby P is going to leave now. You can go ahead and go. Thank you, darling.
That was
Thank
awesome.
you, ladies. I'm proud of you. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Bye, honey.
Bye-bye.
So anyways, at the beginning of the book, he talks about just something very simple. He was talking about, how you should say to yourself 50 times in the morning, first thing that you wake up, and then 50 times in the evening, just say the words, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it. Say it 50 times, both morning and night. And, it'll like bring about the sense of urgency to do whatever it is that you need to do, like immediately, instead of like procrastinating and putting it off. And so I started messaging people. And I also, Alistair would probably disagree with this, but I did start cleaning the house more and things like that, just because I felt like a sense of urgency to like get it done, Yeah. So that's probably one of my first takeaways from this. And the key to that is just being consistent with it, because I let it drop after a couple of days and then I wasn't as urgent to do everything.
Wow.
But and then the second thing that I took away from the book, I think, Irene, you just touched on that one too, and that's the list of 100 valuable qualities that you have. He said to make a list of 100 valuable qualities that you can see in yourself. So like loving, kind, thoughtful, considerate, just to make a whole list of 100. And he said, if you've had a harder life, it may take you like days and weeks to put this together. So I'm still putting mine together. I just started it today, and I have about 10 words on it. And the one at the top is encouraging. He said to circle the word that is your word that really epitomizes you, is what you see yourself to be, and just make that your the word that is your go-to word. And I always think of encouraging because that's what I want to be to other people, and that's what I hope I am to you going forward and also in life. And so that was one of my second takeaways. And he said with that, if you're going to be valuable to others, you must first see the value in yourself. And so that's the importance of putting that set of words together, just so that you can see that you are valuable and you can remember that every day. And then my third takeaway was from the law of pain. He says, he quoted, "Expecting the world to treat you fairly just because you are a good person is a little like expecting the bull not to charge you because you are a vegetarian." And although that's funny, I just think it's so true in life. I always used to think, just because I was a good person, that things should really just go my way. And life just isn't like that. And he talked about how the Academy Award-winning actor Dustin Hoffman described what it was like for him in his early years as an actor, and some of his friends also, and they really struggled. He said that if anyone had told them that they would be successful, we would have laughed in their face. We were anything but successful actors in the days in those days. I was a waiter. Gene Hackman was a mover, and Robert Duvall worked at the post office. We didn't dream of being rich and famous. We dreamed of finding a job. It was a time of terrible rejection, and we hated being rejected. It got to the point where we would leave our 8x10s, and that's like a headshot, you know, of you, and it's got your resume on the back, because I used to have to do this when I was doing acting. And he said that he would leave that 8x10 at the door of the casting agents, knock and run, just so that he wouldn't be rejected face to face again. He said that it was so discouraging that he seriously considered quitting and becoming an acting teacher at a university. And I just thought that was hilarious.
Hilarious, yes.
Because I was like, gosh, that's exactly how I am with messaging sometimes. Because I'm like, oh, I hate to do this. I hate getting rejected. Oh my gosh. So like at night, I'll do what Ellen Ford said, you know, just wait until it's really, really late at night, and I'll message really quickly, and then I'll get off Facebook really fast before they even have time to look at it. So that's just kind of what it reminded me of. But, you know, I mean, what if Dustin Hoffman had, you know, quit and, you know, just not seen through to his potential? I mean, you know, he would have missed out on so much in life. So I think that's just a good point, that we just need to keep going, you know, no matter how tough it gets, we've just got to keep going. And let's see, he says that, but if we maintain a positive life stance, you put yourself in the best position to manage bad experiences and turn them into positive growth. Life is not the way it is supposed to be. It is the way it is. The way you cope with it is what makes the difference. You cannot control what happens to you in life, but you can control your attitude. And I just thought that was so good. And then I thought, did y'all read about, you know, what the best quality or the most admired quality of a leader is?
No.
Aurora, did you read that?
I don't remember that part, but probably so.
Okay, what do y'all think it is? Just if you were guessing, what would y'all think? I know we've got a few people on, so
To be teachable. I think
That's
that's
really
what he
good.
said, isn't it?
that's really good. That's really good. That's not the exact one I'm thinking of.
I would say attitude.
Attitude is great. That's awesome. That's not the one. It's what is the most admired quality in a leader. That's what. Does anybody else want to guess? Peggy, do you want to guess? Or who else got on?
Lacey, is that you?
Lacey?
Lacey, do you want to guess?
We can't see you, Lacey,
She
or
must.
whoever you are. Is that Lacey?
Okay, I guess we'll go on. The most admired quality in a leader is actually honesty.
Oh.
And he says that honesty is what is most valued in leaders. No one likes to work with unreliable people. If you can't trust yourself, you won't be able to grow. Good character and honesty and integrity is core and essential to any area of life. As we think in our hearts, so we become. So I thought that was just fabulous. And Alistair and I used to go to talk to this really wise man, and he said the exact same thing. He said that, you know, honesty and integrity is above all else what people will look at you and trust you with. So just in our dealings with people, and as leaders, we really need to be honest, you know, and have integrity. And then, okay, this was one of my favorite chapters, the law of trade-offs. And this, she gave up something good, her job with USDA, in order to achieve something better. I mean, she's given up that really good job to, number one, be a mom, and also to put more of her focus into doing Plexus, because she knows that there's, there's great success that can come from being in Plexus, so she thought that was worth the risk. And Maxwell says, I have always been more motivated by the possibility of success
And the
and the fear of failure. And I thought that was really good. And with that quote, he talks about a man that actually worked for Pillsbury. He had come from Coca-Cola because his dad had worked as a driver or a very low position in Coca-Cola, so he didn't think that he could ever make it with Coca-Cola, so he switched to Pillsbury. And he became the vice president of Pillsbury. But he decided that he just didn't like it as much as he thought he would. He wanted to be like a decision maker.
yeah.
And so he decided he wanted to be a president, and so
Yeah.
exactly. So they went ahead and they said, okay, well, sure, you can do that, but you have to go down to the very bottom. And they put him in Burger King, and he was 34 years old, and he was like going into this job with these 21-year-old college graduates, and he was having to flip burgers, going through management school, and he worked his way all the way up, and the highest he could get was vice presidency again. But he had to go through a lot of obstacles, and a lot of people didn't want him to succeed, and so he had to really thing that he went through back up to the vice presidency. 4 years later, he became the president of Godfather's Pizza. That opportunity came available, and Pillsbury went ahead and just put him in that position because he had just proved himself by working all the way from the bottom to the top. It reminds me, Alistair talked earlier about a time in our business, but he started his chaplaincy business, and it really just wasn't gaining ground as quickly as we needed it to, and we were just really struggling financially. And so he went ahead and he took another job that gave him a 6-figure salary, and he really didn't like that job. He had to travel a lot, and he had just really didn't like it that much. But it gave us a lot of financial. And so he and took that job. He had one chaplaincy job left, and the boss of that chaplaincy job believed in Alistair, and he said, "No, I believe that this is your." So he had to pay more money and also give him references. So giving your salary, he had 5 companies. I mean, he did money, passion of a career, and the funny thing was, he just in 2 years. So had he not followed his path, never realized he had for him as a for our family what we went through as a trade-off.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Cecily, I think we lost you.
Yeah, I can't hear Cecily or see her.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Now?
Your screen's
Okay.
frozen now.
Yeah, I can't. How long have I been talking? How long have y'all known?
Well,
2 minutes.
Okay. Okay, great.
Oh no, yeah, through that last
Or what you got out of this book from
we're kind of losing you again. I don't know. Cecily, are you there?
We lost her.
Yeah. We were kind of having issues before y'all got on, but it seems like it's been doing good here for a while. So,
I don't know where she is.
wow, we totally lost her. She's gone.
There's no, yeah, there she is.
I see
Can you
her,
see
but she's
me?
not. We can't see you.
Okay, there you
Okay,
are.
y'all see me now?
Yeah, there you
Okay.
are.
I better talk quick so I can get through this before I get cut off again. Okay, he says to be a river, not a reservoir. Be grateful. Put people first. People want to know, do you care for me? People want to know if they matter to someone leading them and if their leadership can be trusted. Once people are satisfied that your motives are right and that you will put them above your own selfish interests, then they are willing to partner with you on your journey. The measure of success is not the number of people that serve you, but the number of people that you serve.
Oh, wow.
And this reminds me a lot of Andy. Can y'all still hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, good. Andy, the first day that I ever met Andy, she said that she had a lot of friends and that a lot of connections and that they trusted her. And I totally believe that, because every time we go out there to Sip and See, she has all those friends that come out. And I can tell that she genuinely cares for them and they genuinely care for her. And they're willing to just follow her into this journey because they trust her, you know, and so that's just what this made me think of. And then the very last thing that I got was the last chapter, and it was just a fabulous chapter. If you don't read any more of the book, just go read chapter 15. It says, after a period of sowing, there is a period of time where it looks like there's nothing happening. All the growth is beneath the surface. And I really think that that's kind of what happened to Fallon, you know, Fallon Black, the diamond, because, you know, she read this book first and she said nothing happened. And then she said that she read the next book, the one that we're going to read next. What's it called? How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
And she said nothing. And she said nothing happened. And I thought, and then she said, you know, she went through one other one and still nothing happened. And then finally she read The Magic of Thinking Big. And I thought when we were starting this, I was like, well, maybe we should just start there. But then I thought, no, I think it was a process for her. I think she had to go through that whole period of growth to get to where she was going to go. You know, I think she had to learn all of this, you know, to get where she was going. And the last, this was so cool. The last example that he talked about was a guy named, and I'm going to have to find it in my notes because I lost my page. His name was John Ron. He's a guy that was just living paycheck to paycheck, and he was oh no, am I losing?
No,
how's that?
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. His name was John Ron, and he was living paycheck to paycheck, and he worked for Sears, and he was just really frustrated because his life just wasn't going anywhere. Can y'all see me?
Yes.
You can? Okay. And so a friend of his told him to go to this guy named Showoff's seminar that talked about, you know, growing, and I'm not even exactly sure what it was. But anyways, somehow this guy named Showoff ended up taking interest in him. And he ended up mentoring him for 5 years, and encouraging him to build a better life for himself and pursue his dreams of creating a better life for himself and his family. And by the age of 31, Ron was a millionaire. And then Ron began giving back. Let's see here. And sharing his, ended up developing 5 million people through his books and his teaching engagements. And in 2010, Irene, you'll like this, Ron was honored by guest speakers Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Chris Widener, Dennis Watley, and Darren Hardy.
Oh, wow.
So,
Awesome.
so that is like the impact that he made. He didn't just like become a millionaire and stop there. He like gave back. And I think that's what, God just wants us to do, is just give back to people through businesses and just through life. So that's what I got from the book. I want to hear what you guys got from it. I'm going to take my lovely glasses off.
Oh, no, how funny. Aurora, why don't you go next?
What did y'all...
Let me unmute myself. What I thought was most, pertinent to me, that really hit home, was when he was talking about the law of diminishing intent. And that's because the longer you wait to do something you should do now, the greater the odds that you will never actually do it. Yeah. And so that hit home for me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to get my business off the ground if I keep putting off what I need to do.
Yeah.
And another quote is that I got that I loved: if you want to grow, you have to get over the fear of making mistakes. And that's another thing that I think keeps us from, making those calls.
Yes.
And motivation is a myth. Just do it and motivation will come.
Yes.
So, we're always doing, I'm always trying to, what can I watch on YouTube that will motivate me to actually get on the phone and call somebody or, message them. And I'm like, just do it. And the motivation itself will come. And it's true, because the last couple of days, you should see my list that I have of people that I've already contacted, and not just once, but several times. I give them a couple of days because they don't respond back. So I'm like, I'm still here. You're either going to have to tell me to go away, or you're going to have to answer Sunday. So I've made quite a lot of progress, from what I've done, because I haven't contacted this many people since I started.
Wow.
This is the most that I've ever contacted. And I already have my list for tomorrow of who I'm going to contact. And my list every day just keeps growing to 5. But once I get started, I'm like, I got to do more, because those people didn't answer back, and I need to keep going on my list, because I'm working off my other list. And so I'm excited. This book has just really helped me propel myself and get out of my comfort zone, because that's what he talks about a lot. Get out of your comfort zone. It's not going to get you anywhere. Your comfort zone, if you're comfortable, you're not growing. You got to be uncomfortable to grow.
Exactly.
Right.
So
yes.
That's just a little bit that I have.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. That's very good. Yes, and going along with that, and just do it, what Cecily said, and I wrote that down because I'm going to repeat that. Do like she said, 50 times in the morning and 50 times in the evening. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. And we just put things off, and what I got was well, back to what you were saying, it's like you may not feel like doing it, but as soon as you start doing, then you get there. And this other book, How to Influence Friends and Find Friends and Influence People was talking about the same thing. You know, it's like you may not feel like doing something, but if you just smile or sing that song, you know, you're going to start feeling better. You may not feel like doing it initially, but when you do it, you'll get there. You know, the motivation may not be there, but just start on it, move, do something. And then you'll feel like doing more, which you proved, Aurora. That is the way it happens, you know. I with this deal with the special, I've been going through my friends list. I found a way where, if you go to your profile and then go down to friends, it puts all your friends in alphabetical order. So I started going down on my friends list, and somewhere in another notebook I have not every single, but almost every person listed, you know, and like, okay, started contacting a bunch of people there, you know, and just having some kind of system gets me more motivated, gets me, you know, going there. So let me see. Discipline is a morale builder. Again, you may not feel like doing it, but the consistency of doing it, and being disciplined to do that every single day. And, you know, we hear Celeste and all of them talk about that consistency. We have to do it every day. I like this. I wrote this down just this afternoon. If you have motivation, if you don't have motivation, you need discipline. Oh, hold it. If you have motivation, you need discipline. If you have motivation, discipline is no problem. There we go. If you lack motivation, discipline is always a problem. So it's just the discipline of doing it every single day, whether you feel like it or not. So, along with what Cecily was talking about, and our list of 100 valuable qualities. And yeah, she mentioned this too. So using what is the one word that describes you. And I haven't worked on my list of 100, but I was thinking about the one word that described me best. And I don't know, I was thinking like steady, strong, and what was the other word? Steady, strong, overcomer. I don't know. Those are kind of the words.
That's good.
Have, so.
I would say those fit you really well. I think those fit you really well, Irene.
Thank you.
Yes, I think so too.
Thank you. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of. Oh, and you know what? I actually went through today when he was talking about the why test. And if you answer depending on your answer to these 7 questions, your why is not strong enough. I'll read these. I was pausing every single second to write every single.
I can write down.
Because I wanted to figure out, is my why strong enough? Am I where I need to be? You know, it says, do you procrastinate on important tasks? And yes is my answer there. do you require coaxing to do the small chores? And I guess in related to plexus and the income producing activities, yes. Do you perform duties just to get by? You know, and that's funny because sometimes it's yes to get started, but once I get started, you know, I'm going. Number 4, do you constantly talk negative about your work? And I don't think I do that. Do efforts of friends to encourage you irritate you instead? And I'm a no to that. I tell you, Cecily's good at encouraging me. and encourage is a great word for you, Cecily, by the way.
Yes.
Number 6, do you start projects and abandon them? Yes, you do. No, you don't start small projects and abandon them. I don't know about that, but I think there's a delay in
I
that.
probably do. I probably do. I've got to work my consistency as well. So
That's funny. I don't think I start small projects and abandon them. I think I'm pretty good in following through. And do you avoid self-improvement opportunities? And I have to definitely say no to that, because I have really been, in the last month, I guess, self-improvement has been on my mind, because I feel like I need to grow to get farther into where I want to be. So that is where my head has been lately. So
me too.
yes,
That's why I'm so happy that we're doing this. This has been so awesome. So
yeah, it is.
What about, is anybody else still on with us? Peggy?
Peggy is still on. She's muted. Peggy.
I'm on. I'm talking to Andy.
Okay.
Oh,
She just signed her husband as an ambassador.
Oh, awesome. Woohoo.
And I'm working on
Andy
Robert.
did? Awesome.
Yes.
How many does she have?
How many do you have, Andy? There's 9 altogether, but how many did you sign up between yesterday and today? 5.
Oh,
Holy cow.
Wow.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Woohoo. Very cool.
You're the
She says she has 2
winner.
more in her pocket. She's going to get me at 7. So.
Yes, she is. She is going to get that. So I bet you anything Andy wins that this month.
That is awesome. Very cool.
I think
I'm gonna mute
Andy's
myself
going
again.
for that shopping trip for Leaders Retreat, aren't you, Andy?
$5,000, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
That would be so awesome.
She's
Oh my
trying to
gosh.
get on here I am. Hi. She's trying to get on the Zoom call. She's going to try to log in.
Okay, cool.
So anyway, I'm going to cover myself again.
Cool.
I'm on the computer right now. I'm trying to see. I'm
Okay,
trying to get my husband enrolled. Ah! It was a dare, I guess, from Dan. Yeah. Well, how do I get rid of this?
She's like trying to
She's trying to. But you know,
Okay,
the
I'm
other
going to mute
thing
myself
that
again.
really, okay. The other thing that I really, really loved, and I'm like, that is Plexus, is when he started talking about, are you in a growing environment? And it says, if you, no, is that it? No, growth questions. In other words, no, that's not it. Like, do they motivate you? Do they, where you are at right now, do the people that you
Yes.
around you motivate you and help you, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I can't remember what he said. but I was like, yeah, I am in a growing environment with Plexus, because that's all we do. We encourage each other. We want everybody to grow. And that's what I love. I'm like, I know I'm in the right business. I'm where I need to be.
Yes.
Myself.
Amen.
Awesome. Absolutely.
That's awesome, Aurora. That is so true. I do. I feel like our team is just so on the verge of floating with growth. Mainly, I just think that I just am so excited because I just can feel it. It's just it's just about to just explode. So
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Very awesome. Awesome.
That's pretty much all I had. Does anybody have anything else, or?
No, but that was awesome. I took a bunch of notes from what you said, Cecily. Yeah.
Oh, that makes me happy. That's so great. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank y'all so much for being on the call tonight. I love this. I think we need to keep going. So
I agree. And yes, I have already started reading How how to win friends and influence people, and I love it too. So yes.
Yay!
Yay!
Thanks, Cecily. Thanks, Irene. Thanks, Aurora.
Good night. Okay, you guys just thank you, Peggy. Just we're gonna be sure you read chapters 1 through 3 for our Sunday night Zoom call for our group, the leadership launch.
Right.
And that's pretty much all I had.
Awesome. Thank you, Cecily.
You're welcome.
All right.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
and hey, I was recording this, so I'm gonna stop recording.